Hello learners, welcome to the video lecture on Module 4 Engineering Materials and Joining Processes, Part 1 of the video lecture series, presented by myself Ranjit PK, Assistant Professor, Department of Mechanical Engineering. The syllabus has 4 components, the first component being focused on the properties, composition and the applications of various engineering materials, that is both ferrous and non-ferrous metals, the polymers, ceramics, the composite materials, the semiconductors and insulators along with smart materials. The second component is the understanding of various joining processes along with its classification and methods with the brief description. The third and fourth component are belt drives and gear drives, both being the type of movement mechanisms or the driving mechanisms. In this video lecture, we are going to focus on properties, composition and applications of various engineering materials, in particular the ferrous metals. So let's begin. A material is something out of which anything is made. You look around, anything and everything is actually made up of something. This is nothing but a material. The knowledge of materials and its properties holds a very great significance. In fact, the early civilizations have been designated by the level of their development of materials: the Stone Age, Bronze Age and the Ice Age. So, the materials, even right from the early time, has a greater amount of importance in the human life. The day-to-day life is influenced to a large extent by these kind of materials, and the development of many technologies have made this usage of materials very easy and very accessible. The choice of materials that we make depends on the type of application and depends on the properties possessed by these material. So it is of great importance that we understand these properties that are existing for a given material. So from the examination point of view, for the each material you are required to write the constituents or the composition of the material, then list down its properties. The properties could be mechanical, for example ductility, malleability, castability, then the electrical properties, then the thermal properties along with its applications. The materials are generally classified into two parts, metals and non-metals. The metals being further classified into ferrous metals and non-ferrous metals, and non-metals being classified as these. The ferrous metals are further classified and the non-ferrous metals as well. Metals are composed of one or more metallic elements. It could be iron, aluminium, copper, titanium, etc. And also some non-metallic elements, carbon, nitrogen and oxygen, although in relatively small amounts. In these metals, the atoms are arranged in a very orderly manner shown here. Ferrous metals have iron as their chief constituent, constituting about 90 to 94% of iron. The ferrous metals are further subclassified into cast iron and its types, steel and its types. We look at these one by one. The cast iron is basically a mixture of iron, carbon and silicon as an alloying element. It constitutes about 90 to 92% of iron, 2 to 4% of carbon and 1 to 3% of silicon. Along with these, there are other elements like sulfur, manganese and phosphorus in traces. This cast iron is formed basically by melting the pig iron, that is the raw form of iron obtained, and casting it with or without machining. Casting is involving the melting of the metal and giving it a desired final shape and size, hence the name cast iron. The properties include the melting point being very low, that is about 1100 to 1200 degrees Celsius, and it has excellent castability due to its high fluidity of melt. That is, when the cast iron is melt, it becomes very high fluidity. The ease of flow is very good. And by altering the chemical composition of this cast iron, a wide range of metallic properties can also be obtained. The general applications of the cast iron include the machine beds, the columns, hammers, road rollers, pipe fittings, valves, then farm equipments, automotive parts, then various parts of engines, then various parts of motors and pumps, then engine frames, piston, cylinder blocks, etc. Along with this, the most widespread use of cast iron is also found in our kitchen in the form of kitchen utensils, or the tawa as we call. The cast iron and its classification is given as grey cast iron, white cast iron, malleable cast iron, and nodular cast iron. This classification is predominantly done on the carbon content that it has. The grey cast iron is characterized by presence of a large form of carbon in the form of graphite flakes as seen here, and when fractured, this bar of grey cast iron gives grey appearance, hence it is named as grey cast iron. The constituent of carbon in this is varying between 3.2 to 3.5%, whereas the silicon varies between 1.3 to 2.3%, along with traces of these phosphorus, sulfur, and manganese. The rest of these is assumed that it is iron. The properties of cast iron: it has excellent castability, it has very good machinability, that is, it can be machined upon very easily, and it is very resistant to wear, and it is very good in damping the vibration or reducing the vibration. And hence, this grey cast iron finds its application in automotive engine blocks, gear mechanisms, flywheels, brake discs and drums, the base of the machine, etc. The white cast iron has the carbon constituent 1.8 to 3.5, silicon in 0.5 to 2%, and traces of other components. Then this is basically produced by cooling rapidly, and it is done due to preventing graphite from precipitation. This carbon remains as an iron carbide as shown here in its microstructure. Presence of iron carbide in the white cast iron makes the cast iron extremely hard, and it is brittle, and it has good wear resistance, along with its compressive strength being low and tensile strength being high. The drawback of this is it cannot be machined easily. The white cast iron finds its application in wherever there are parts that are subjected to excessive wear. Example: rail brakes, sprockets, brick making equipments, crushers, pulverizers as shown here. Malleable cast iron. Before we understand malleable cast iron, let us understand what is malleability. It is the ability of the material that it can be pressed into the form of a sheet under a compressive load. You put up a compressive load, how the material forms or acts as a sheet, or how it molds into a sheet, is determined by malleability. This malleable cast iron is produced by annealing. It is a type of heat treatment process. Upon cooling, the carbon separates into nodules of free graphite as shown here. The carbon content is between 2 to 3%, the silicon between 0.6 to 1.3%, along with other elements. The properties of malleable cast iron include: it is highly malleable, it can be easily machined, it is resistant to shock, it can be hammered and rolled into different shapes because it is malleable, it has good wear resistance, and also the vibration damping ability. The malleable cast iron finds its application in brake pedals, tractor springs, hangers, various parts of washing machine, various equipments used for agriculture, then automotive crankshafts. Nodular cast iron is basically obtained by adding a magnesium to the molten iron before it is poured into the molds. This causes the graphite to form nodules or spheres, hence the name nodular cast iron. The carbon content varies between 3.2 to 4.2% and silicon between 1.1 to 3.5%. The properties of nodular cast iron: it has very good machinability, excellent castability and resistant to wear. It is ductile, it has improved strength, stiffness and shock resistance. Nodular cast iron finds its application in milling equipment, steel mills, then various power transmission equipments, then paper industries and its machinery, then automobile door hinges. The next part is the steel. In the ferrous metal, so far we have covered the cast iron and its types. We are now focusing on steel and its types. Steel is basically an alloy of iron and carbon with carbon content being 1.6%. The presence of carbon increases the strength and hardness of the steel. Here again, the classification of steel is basically done on the carbon content and is classified as plain carbon steel, stainless steel and tool steel, with plain carbon steel further classified as low, medium and high carbon steel. We will look at these one by one. The plain carbon steel is basically a combination of iron and carbon, and the carbon acts as an alloying element along with the other elements present in terms of copper, manganese, phosphorus, silicon and sulfur. The plain carbon steel based on the carbon content is classified as low, medium and high carbon steel with its approximate carbon percentages as shown. The low carbon steel is also known as mild steel and it is the most common type of carbon steel that is usually found. It has wide range of applications. As already mentioned, the carbon content is very low, 0.03 to 0.25% of carbon. This makes it the mild steel or the low carbon steel, malleable and ductile with good machining ability. It is basically used to make valves, gears, screw nails and automotive body components as shown in these representative images. Medium carbon steel has 0.25 to 0.59% of carbon. It is stronger than mild steel and it possesses good resistance to wear. It does not wear out easily. It is usually finds its application in terms of bolts, rods, nuts, then springs, crankshafts, axles and any other components that requires forging, and then various automotive and machined components. High carbon steel approximately contains 0.6 to 1% carbon. It is extremely strong and more brittle. It has good wear resistance due to its superior surface hardness. It is usually used as springs, hacksaw blades in the frame as shown, then chisels, then hammers, punches and tapes. Stainless steel is basically an iron carbon alloy along with chromium present, and this chromium weighs between 11.5 to 25%. The stainless steel gets its name because it does not corrode or stain easily, hence the name stainless steel. Stainless steel is usually used as kitchen utensils, knife blades, various surgical instruments, then kitchen sinks, then food processing equipments. Tool steel is basically used to make tools in a manufacturing process. They are capable of withstanding high loads and remain stable even at higher temperatures. There are different types of tool steels available, high speed steel or HSS being the most widely used in the manufacturing application. The high speed steel is called so because they are capable of cutting at higher speeds, usually 4 times higher than the regular carbon tools. This is basically an alloy steel containing tungsten, molybdenum, chromium and vanadium in suitable proportions. There are two types of these HSS, T-type and M-type. T-type denoting the tungsten as a principal alloying element with its composition ranging from 12 to 18%. The M-type being the molybdenum as the principal alloying element with its composition ranging from 4 to 9%. In the next video lecture, we are going to focus on these metals. And thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, please subscribe and share. Thank you.